The blood ran thick in a river down his forearm and dripped off his elbow as he held the demon off the ground by his throat. He didn't care that he was bleeding. He didn't care that the soles of his boots were slowly melting on the steaming floor of this hell. All he cared about was watching the life drain from the evil bastard he held in his hand. If he let go, the blood would run faster from the slash he had made in the thing's neck. But where was the fun in that? No, the fun part was watching the series of thoughts and emotions that crossed their ugly faces as he bled the life from them. Not that they deserved a life anyway. He got some sick enjoyment out of watching them go from confident and cocky to surprised, scared, and finally accepting their fate of death at his hands. He was going to hell permanently one day, and that was his own fault. But damned if he wasn't going to take out as many demons as he could before he made it his personal home. Yeah, housekeeping. That's what he was doing, cleaning out the infestation before moving in. He hadn't realized when he made the deal with the demon that killed most of his family that the price would be his soul. He could still hear his mother's screams as the demon raped and killed her. It then killed his father. He had sat in a corner behind the couch, cowering in fear, and watched it all. When the demon moved onto his little sister, he couldn't hide anymore. He had thrown his 10-year-old body over his sister's and bared his teeth at the demon. The demon, of course, had found it amusing. He fought with everything he had in his little body. He still didn't know what made the demon stop, but it did. It offered him a deal that he couldn't refuse. The demon said that it liked his spunk, and if he would agree to work for it when the time came, it would spare his sister's life. He hated his job, but he loved his sister, so the eternity of being covered in demon blood was completely worth it. When the demon finally gurgled its last breath, Ash released his grip on its neck and allowed it to slump to the floor. It landed with a sickening thump and crumpled into a pile of mangled flesh and blood. Ash wiped the blade of his knife on his leather pants and slid it home into the sheath on his hip. He wiped the blood from his face with the back of his arm and started walking back the way he had come. He didn't bother with cleaning up the mess he had made with the demon, because he knew about 1,000 minions would be along shortly to devour every morsel that was left of it. In fact, he could already hear their scampering feet approaching. Ash took the amulet he wore around his neck out of his shirt and softly chanted the spell that would take him out of hell and back to Earth. He felt his body changing from solid to something more like fog, his molecules separating and preparing to transport. Then for that glorious split second, everything was black. There was nothing to see or hear in that moment. No assignments from the boss, no bills to pay, no people looking at him as if he were some kind of freak. No, when he transported, he was at peace, if only for a second.